Hi, it's Duncan from NFS, National Fire and Security, with offices here in Christchurch and in Auckland, New Zealand. For all your security needs, please visit our website at nfs.nz and we'd be happy to help. So today I'm doing a video on NX Witness, which is a video management system, a very popular video management system, and that's because it's very simple and very easy to use. In fact, you really don't need to read a manual, which is fantastic. So it's like when you pick up a phone, you obviously don't read a manual or expect to have training on how to use that phone. You just want to be able to use it. It's intuitive, and that's exactly what NX Witness is. So I'm going to be doing a series of videos, and I'm concentrating on the end user experience. I'm concentrating on, the functionality that you'll get rather than the setup and the configuration, which I will do a series of videos on that and go into that a little further down the line. But today I'm just going to focus on the flexible grid interface. So let's open up NX Witness client. So this is the FAT client, the software you download from the NX website. You can install it as a client to a server or just as a client, and it's available for Windows, Mac and Linux. Now when you log in, you can log into a server or you can log into a cloud account. Now I'm going to be logging in as a cloud account. The reason for that is you get to your sites, and a site is basically a combination of multiple servers linked together logically. So for NFS, you can see here we've got 3 servers, but geographically they're located in the North Island and Christchurch in the South Island, but logically they're all listed together here, and I can access any of the cameras on those servers and bring them up into the interface, this great grid interface here. Just dragged and dropped that on there, and it just loaded the camera for me. So I'll drop another camera on there down in Christchurch, and you can see it just loads up the cameras, and it's just adjusting the my grid accordingly. It's resizing it all for me dynamically as I drop the cameras on here. Drop another camera on here. It doesn't really matter where I can drop them because I can move them around. You can see when I pick up the camera, it's got the grid in the background with the blue lines, and it shows me where that camera would fit. I could move it down, for instance, and it would just move it around. The other thing you can do here is you can resize the camera as well, just by left clicking and dragging your mouse over, and you can resize the camera accordingly, and then I can pick it up and I can move it to the other side. So that's the flexible grid interface. One thing you'll notice that in here you've got the black lines between the camera views, and that is the padding, cell padding. Some people like that, some people don't, but if you wanted to turn that padding off, you can just right click and bring up the drop down menu, and you can go to the cell spacing and you can change that to none, and you can see that just snaps all the cameras in together because now there is no cell padding. And then just to put it back again, right click there and you can put cell spacing small, and you can make it larger if you want. The other thing that people will ask about as well is the view here. It can be quite cluttered when you've got all your information boxes around the cameras. It can look a little bit cluttered, so you can turn those off, well, just minimize them effectively, but just by clicking on these chevrons here and just minimizing those down to the size, and then you've just got your cameras in the view, which is quite nice. You can adjust the aspect ratio if you had different cameras, or you had a different size screen, or you had your screen in portrait mode, for instance. You can just adjust the aspect ratio accordingly, and you can just change that back to how it wants. So yeah, so that is the flexible grid layout. Very easy to put your cameras on there, very easy to dynamically adjust it and move things around, get things the way you like it. And then once you've done that, you can save a layout, and then you can bring that layout, load this layout up in the future without having to load all those cameras on again and get them exactly as you wanted them. And you can share layouts with other users as well. So if I just save this layout as a new demo, for instance, click on save, and I'll just close that view now, and close that view. And then if I wanted to log in again at a future point in time. I could go to my layouts. Yes, I've got a few here. I could find the layout that I just did earlier on, and I could just drag and drop that up there, and it will just load those cameras up for me, which is very useful. Okay. The other thing you can do by right-clicking as well is you can go into layout settings. In layout settings, you can put a background on. The benefit of this is, well, it's easy for me to show you actually. So there's some preloaded ones here. I'll use the school as an example. And you can see there's a floor plan of a building. So if I click OK, you can adjust how many cells that you want, but you've got your cameras there, and I can drag and drop my cameras, and I can put them into the appropriate locations on the floor plan. So that can be handy. You don't need to know the name of the camera. You just need to know where in the building you want to look at. And again, this comes back to not needing to look at a manual or know camera names or camera numbers and things like that. Used to be in the old days, you know, operators would just know the number of a camera, and they'd just be typing the numbers in on a dynamic joystick keypad, if you like. But with this, you have your layout on a map, and you can just click on a camera and you can bring it up and double click and you go back again. If you click on a small camera like this, it will give you a zoomed out view, so you can just zoom in to, oh yes, that's the camera I want, or not. And yes, that's quite a useful little feature. And again, you can save these layouts with the background. So you could have multiple backgrounds. So for instance, this could be a ground floor. You could then have a first floor, a second floor with different backgrounds on there, and you could save them all as layouts and then load those layouts up as you needed. So that's the flexible grid interface. I hope that's been useful. I'll be doing some more videos on these. The next one I'm going to be doing is going to be on the fast search tools and effects and dewarping of fisheye 360 cameras. So hope that's been useful for you. Look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you very much.